In Murrindindi Shire, it's business as unusual, and right now our local businesses need you. Every dollar you spend locally helps business owners support their family, other businesses and you. Shop local, shop Dindi. Visit dindidirectory.com.au.
Welcome to Dindi Live, presented by Murrindindi Shire Council. Simulcast on UGFM in your local area. Dindi Live would like to introduce Sheila Brennan.
Hi everyone. I'm Sheila, and I'm an artist, and and a painter, and I am a performing artist more recently, and grateful to be able to show you a little bit of what I do.
How did you start your journey in art?
Well, I was brought up in Africa, in Zimbabwe, and I never did stick figures or anything like that. I always went straight into drawing proper people, I thought. And then later on, and my family always called me the artist. I followed in my grandmother's footsteps. She was brilliant, really good. And so by the time I left school, I actually did have a choice. It was either I was going to go to acting school or I was going to go to art college. But I'd really grown up with this idea of being an artist, so that one won out. But nowadays I'm rather kind of think, I wonder what it would have been like if I'd gone to acting school instead. That would have been, or drama school, that would have been quite fascinating and interesting. And because more recently, and in fact since for the last 20 years since I came to live in Alexandra, initially I joined the Alexandra Choir, the Alexandra Singers, and at some point found myself front of stage doing solos, not because I was particularly good, but because I fitted into the costume. How's that for getting a step up the ladder? Anyway, and then, I was with them for a long time, and I took up doing singing lessons so that I could improve my act a bit. And I got to see how much I didn't know. But then when the singers folded, somebody asked me if I'd like to do a Dame Nellie Melba act. And being a blow-in from another country, I had never really heard or read or had a conversation about Dame Nellie Melba and knew very little about her at all. So I said, yeah, why not? I think if I'd known about her, I would have said, no, you must be joking. So anyway, that's what I've been putting my focus on the last 5 years. It's training, doing more and more training, singing, and developing this little show. I have a monologue on Dame Nellie Melba, and I enjoy dressing up and making new costumes, and I love writing the script. I've actually found that that's a new interest, is to do a bit of writing. Yeah.
I am Dame Nellie Melba, and I am delighted to be here with you.
You the lassie has a laddie, need they say, oh hi, yet all the lads smile at me when coming through the ride.
It was after my years at Ladies Presbyterian College that I began my training with Signor Pietro Secchi, who inspired in me a love for beautiful music.
Anis angelicus, fit canis hominum, dat panis celicus figur
My operatic debut was as Gilda in Verdi's Rigoletto. I was introduced to all the impresarios of the world. Doors started to open as if the winds of change were lifting me into a new world of grand society. I fell in love with Philippe, the Duke of Orleans, the most glamorous royal duke in the whole of Europe. No longer was I alone as Gilda, Lucia, Ophelia, Margherita, Giulietta, or Mimi, for my consort accompanied me everywhere, even to St. Petersburg, where I was commanded to sing for the Tsar of Russia.
Swing low, sweet chariot, come and Lord, carry me home.
Now, on my first visit back to Australia, the train arrived at Spencer Street Station to what appeared to be a crowd half the size of Melbourne there to greet me. This kind of reaction became known as Melba Mania. So popular were my war efforts that at one of these concerts there were little flashes of light throughout the hall and a disconcerting clicking sound that prompted me to say, "Do stop. You are driving me mad." And at that, they all put their knitting down.
Home, sweet, sweet home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
The Dame is back.
All our tomorrows will be as today. All our tomorrows will be as today.
Can you tell us about your painting?
As far as my painting goes, well, I'm hoping to bring that into the show as well, because the idea is to actually have the whole package working, probably by filming it. But because I paint, I've already done a few paintings of her, which you will see. Perhaps you will see it now. And I also have done a painting of the wisteria in her garden, for example, which, I have this idea that would make a very nice backdrop to my act. And so I can incorporate all of my other experiences as an artist into this new form, which is performing arts. And it's a great privilege to be able to do this. And if I only ever have it as a video, that's fine. But I do go to nursing homes and I perform.
You have a history in fashion design. Do you think that has influenced your love of Dame Nellie Melba?
Yes, I've always collected antique clothes, I suppose. If I've got the opportunity, if I see something, I will collect it. I will have it. Or fabrics, old fabrics, and designs. I like to. I've got a dressmaker's model, and I like to drape that with fabric that I find and create things. And having a project like this particular show is ideal for expressing that particular side of my experience as an artist.
How did you get involved in clothing design?
Yes, so when I was at art college, for a start, I did fashion design for about 2 years, and then When I went back to Africa, which is where I grew up, I was given a job as a facilitator in a craft centre called the Harare Weaving Centre. And we, at the end of my contract, put on a show at the art gallery, on a fashion show. So then later on, I was given I had a job as the fashion coordinator for the Cotton Promotion Council, which involved both doing designing and fabric. A lot more to do with the fabrics. So yes, so yeah, all of this is sort of added to the charm of being Dame Nellie Melba and having a wardrobe. Rather fun.
Why did you then decide to pick up a brush and paint?
It had been suggested by the head of the board of directors that I had an opportunity to really advance my career by being in this situation, because I had to liaise with a lady in fashion at Pret-a-Porter in Paris, and so it really was an opening for me to actually do quite well in the commercial world as a fashion designer or something to do with fashion. Only I fell in love with the drummer in the band, believe it or not, true. And that was much more important, and I'm afraid I left. Oh dear, never mind. It was not to be. So then I came back from South Africa after my failed relationship, and a very good friend of mine who had always been supportive of me as an artist suggested that I don't go back to doing office work, and that I just, I cook the meals and he'd support me as a painter. So that worked out quite well. And then I met my true art teacher, who trained me in, or at least anyway, who I learned to do more serious work with fine artwork. And so from there on, I've just kept painting. The thing is that I'd always wanted to be an artist. I'd always painted people. I'd always done portraiture. And from when I was really, really young, like 6 years old, I used to paint all the film stars. I think I did a drawing of, not paint, I drew Sophia Loren and Elvis Presley and Peter O'Toole and Omar Sharif and Elizabeth Taylor. And so I did these drawings of all these fancy film stars, and I've seen, we still have them somewhere. They were pretty awful, really, but for a 6-year-old, they were quite good. And so, and my grandmother was a very fine artist. I mean, she was really quite talented, only she didn't keep up with being an artist. She just wanted to be a mother. So I just had this passion, I suppose, to paint.
What subject matter do you paint?
I do portraits, and I sort of tend to feel like I can paint pretty much anything that anyone would want me to paint. I don't know whether I'd paint it the way they wanted me to paint it, but subject-wise, I can paint almost anything. The challenge of being an artist is that life does go on, and we still have to pay the bills and do the housework and be part of the community. So it's, I certainly used to just paint, but that was when I lived in Africa and I didn't have to do all the work myself, like the cleaning and the washing. And now my washing machine's broken down and I'm having to wash everything by hand. So I'm truly back to Africa at the moment. But yeah, I have to be grateful that I've been given this wonderful opportunity to be able to just carry on as an artist, even though I do complain a bit about all the hard work that it takes to maintain my lifestyle. But yeah, and it's the journey, it's not the destination, isn't it? Yeah, when the weather's so beautiful as it is now, to be outside and to be climbing rocks and going for walks and just sitting there and painting, and then I don't have to challenge myself to finish anything because it's all on my own terms. Obviously, if I'm doing a commissioned piece of work, I have to be a little bit more disciplined. But even then, people aren't in a hurry to get a painting. They mostly say, take your time, which actually in some cases I'd rather they didn't, but never mind. So, and otherwise what draws me to actually doing what I do as an artist is maybe sometimes, like especially in spring, my garden has a lot of beautiful flowers in it, and it just seems to be a lost opportunity if I don't do a painting every now and again of them. And there are other times when I join other artists. We have a group in Bonnie Doon with another artist, Pamela Moore, and we do life drawing and painting, and so I do that sort of work sometimes. Sometimes I just want to do an abstract, just want to see what happens, just to get out of, just to have a bit of fun, really. Yeah, I can feel an abstract coming on now, just talking about it. Thank you.
Do you draw inspiration in your paintings from growing up in Africa?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I like the one painting that I have where I've got two little African people getting the water, and my brother and my two brothers and myself sitting on a little platform there with a couple of elephants in the picture. I tend to just put them together from a compositional point of view, and then in this case that was how it was. Except I wanted to have. It was a good idea to have the picture of myself and my brothers in there. We just buried our rabbit, by the way, which is why we're kneeling down there. And we did have quite a strong connection with people who were on the farm, living on the farm. We used to play together, and so it seemed like a good idea to make that painting. But the elephants in there it didn't occur to me as I was doing it that this was the elephant in the living room, now that from another perspective, it is quite a sophisticated statement, really, I suppose you could call it, and really something that needs to be said, about how young people had to just survive, whether they were spoilt white Rhodesians or, struggling, Africans. We all had our, we didn't really know what was going on. It was interesting. Anyway, to me, it's an interesting painting from that point of view. Yeah.
Why do you love painting wildlife?
Well, because I love wildlife. I love... And one thing I forgot to mention about when I'm out in doing plein air painting out in the bush, I get to be in, not always, but sometimes, certainly. This last painting I was by the road, so it kind of distorted this particular perspective that I'd like to tell you about, which is this incredible connection, universal connection you feel when you're out in the bush. And, it's like I can hear the bird twittering that's sort of 10 miles away almost. It's just an amazing experience. And so, I don't know why I'm not out there more often, because I absolutely love it. And anyone would want to be doing that. I do have an affinity with animals. I do find that there are times when if I've been driving too fast too often, every now and again they come out, because I've got whistles on my car. Everyone needs whistles on their car so that they don't run over the animals. I get these little critters along the side of the road. It's like they're standing there looking at me saying, "Come on now, Sheila, we're all here. Don't forget us. Slow down." I don't know if it's real, but why not? Of course it's real. I mean, how else can they tell us what to do? Yeah, they just make themselves present. And I'm probably just have an awareness, because I do miss that wild aspect of Africa, that, I love going, but for example, I love going to the Mansfield Zoo, where you get to hear the roaring of the lions comes right through the earth and up through your body. It's just amazing. Yeah, I'm a bit of an animal lover. Yeah. Well, I think that's about it, and thank you so much for listening. And I've enjoyed sharing my journey with you. Thank you.
Thanks to Sheila Brennan. And thanks to you for listening and supporting local. Would you or your organisation like to be featured on our program? To register your interest, head over to murrindindi.vic.gov.au/Dindi Live. Dindi Live, bringing the arts to you.
In Murrindindi Shire, it's business as unusual, and right now our local businesses need you. Every dollar you spend locally helps business owners support their family, other businesses and you. Shop local, shop Dindi. Visit dindidirectory.com.au.